and I work in the marketing and communications team at MathWorks. And previous to joining MathWorks full-time, I did about 14 plus internships during my college time. So I know, yes, 14 plus is a lot of internships. Whenever I tell this to any student or professional, the first question they ask, oh, how did you manage to do those 14 plus internships? However, that is something that I'm not going to share in this session because we are focused on the content creation part. Yeah, but I happened to do those 14 plus internships during my college time. I did my BTech as well as MBA from Narsi Monji College of Management in Mumbai. And I happened to work with brands like IM Bangalore, Burger King, DCM Shriram in various management roles. I'm also experienced in marketing and branding strategy, where I have to bridge the college to corporate gap as well. I've collaborated with 10 plus institutions and corporates and also mentored 5,000 students and professionals in the past. I guide people on resume review, marketing careers, and as well as prepare students and professionals for internships and jobs. I'm a mentor on Unstaff platform as well. These are a few snapshots of the guest talks that I have done in the past. And as you can see, I've collaborated with multiple IEEE bodies, then have delivered sessions with corporate companies, as well as also collaborated with institutions for these sessions. So yeah, this is a snapshot of those sessions. And these are a few guest talks from classrooms to boardrooms. And these are the audience, whether it's a small group of people or a larger group of people, the major intent is to create value for the students and professionals with whom I interact. These are a few certification courses, and I happen to have gained the certificate of achievement with Economic Times Campus Star. Then I also did multiple certifications, wrote research papers, and got the certificate from BCG, JP Morgan, and multiple different groups. So that's about it. And for the first bit, let's get started and let's go and understand the content that we would be learning together. So the first request that I have for everyone is that you must have seen that people ask you to create content, or you yourself are interested to create content. However, the sad part is that the post that is created does not drive a lot of signups, does not actually reach the intended audience. And you know why this happens? Because the reality is that many of us, and that means including me as well, we create posts for visibility, not intent. So the intent is that the mission, what the reason, the logic we want to drive from that post is not clear. The content is being created just for visibility purpose. That is one. Second is that the content has no consistent tone or brand story. So there are a lot of these creators who actually write the content or the tone that they want to set with that content. What is the brand story that they want to tell to the audience? And then only they will go in the content creation form. However, most of us, and including me, we have this, when we start doing any of the content pieces, we will just start shooting the content, right? So that happens because the consistent tone or brand story is not there. And third, and the most important part, is that there's missing call to action, or the call to action is very weak. So let's say you have shot the content, or you have written the content, but in the end, in the call to action, it is not clear whether you want the audience to actually go and click on some link to register. You want the audience to actually go and buy the course, or you don't, or the third part is that you actually want the audience to take up any action. Probably it can be commenting, it can be liking the post. So those actions are not very clear. That is the reason that happens. So now it's clear that hope it's clear that why most content doesn't convert. These are the three ground rules. Now you must have seen, and we all are a part of the visibility trap. So it often means that we measure the success of a post in terms of the views and the likes that we get. And the sad part is that they are just vanity matrix, because what matters is the conversion matrix, that how many people took the next step by actually looking at your content and saying, oh, okay, I have gone through this content, now this motivates me to actually create a content journey of my own. Or after I have gone through this content, it actually motivates me to start a content business, or it motivates me to try to have good habits, to enroll for a course. So those are the conversion matrix that I'm talking about. So now let's do this mini exercise where, let's say if your post got only 50 likes, let's say you have designed a very nice in LinkedIn or Instagram carousel post and you have posted. So let's say that your post got 50 likes, that a lot of people actually like the content that you have put up. However, in that post, you had a call to action where you actually wanted the person to go and enroll for a particular course. So in that carousel, you've mentioned how that course helped you. And then towards the end, you have you have also added the carousel, in the carousel, a link to the course which you have done. And you have asked people to actually register for it. So now I would like to ask you that if you've got 50 likes, but only 10 signups, would you still call it a win? And I will pause here. I will look in the chat. I want to see what you guys think. You can even unmute and share. We can have some discussion around this. Yes, I think Surinder has asked, can he ask questions in Hindi? Yes, please. And you can actually type in the chat if you're okay, or you can even raise your hand that if you want me to use Hindi and English both, I'm okay to use English. Okay, was the question clear? Can somebody mention the question that I had asked? Or do you want me to repeat anything? You can let me know. Okay, Ronit mentions that he would call it a win. Awesome. Some people, Amol, Rishabh, Karthik, Paul, Suhani say yes. Karunish says no. Manish says yes, it's a good start. And Surinder, yes, you can of course ask your question in Hindi. Yes. Yes, thanks, Ronit. He has mentioned the question in the chat as well. Okay, Aishwarya says that she at least would have wanted 25 signups. Okay. I like the ambitious effort, even at +1 to that. Nishi, it's a win-win situation. Okay, great, great. So now let me go back to the slides. Okay, so here I want to talk about, okay, sorry, before that, yeah. So before I move to the next slide, I want to mention that for me, to be very honest, if I will say that if I would have got 50 likes but only 10 signups initially, for if it was my just few months into the content journey and creating content, I would say yes, it's a good start. However, when you get more experienced and seasoned and you've been creating content for a while, Then you understand that, okay, this thing is working for me, this thing is not. So accordingly, you'll tweak. And after you do the tweaking part and you've been doing for a while, probably 50 likes, but only 10 signups might frustrate you. So yeah, it also depends that for how long you've been doing to actually call whether it's a win or not a win. So now let's move on to the 3C framework that I would like to share. And this 3C framework is actually the core of content creation that you will have or must have seen with the creators and people who are very active on LinkedIn or Instagram use. The usage of this 3C framework is very subtle, so you might not actually experience it as soon as you see the post. However, we'll do few use cases examples to look into that more in more detail. But let me explain to you what is the 3C framework that actually drives the content to get converted for signups or people actually take action. So the first C is clarity. So each post has only a key message that the creator is posting. Credibility. The post also shows some proof or real experience that is being shared. When real experience are shared, it drives a lot of more engagement and signups because it's something which the audience can relate. And third is that the call to action, CTA, which tells people exactly what to do next. So let's say that I read the post. There is a post on a course, or there's a post where it says that for a person to join the fitness journey. So as soon as they read the post, the next thing which should come to the audience mind is, oh, let me also sign up for this fitness journey, or let me recommend some of my friends or colleagues who might benefit from it. So that call to action should be very specific. So now I'll show you some slides, and I want you to go through that slide and identify the 3C usage in those images. So this is the first post, the first content. I have picked this post from LinkedIn, and this has been posted by Ankur Wariko. For those of you who don't know, he's founder of WebVeda, and he's also an author. And I actually read his books. It's very inspiring. So on the left hand side, you can see that he has written a post on dream career, and he has mentioned some real case examples. And towards the end, he has also mentioned what is the next step you have to take after you read this post. So I want you to identify, to read this first, and then identify one key message on this post, which is the clarity part. Credibility is that how this post has used a proof or real experience. And third is the CTA, that I want you to tell what exactly the post is asking you to do once you have read it. So I will use about like next 2 minutes for this activity. You can first read, and then I will stop sharing my screen, and then I'll go to the chat to see what you guys have typed. Okay, so I'll go to the chat now. Any thoughts from you guys? You type in the chat. What were some of the from the 3C? What is the things that you learned? Let me see if I can paste this. Okay, so I have actually pasted the content in the chat, and then I want you to tell me the 3Cs, what has been used. Yeah. You can unmute and also say, probably we can take 1 or 2 volunteers. Right. So let me give one example. So let's say in this particular post, the one key message that is being shared is by Ankur Warikoo is how to look for your dream career. Right. So that is just the one thought that he wants to communicate via this post. Now, accordingly, you can tell me what is the call to action that is being shared, and also the credibility part where he's sharing some social proof or real experience. Okay, anybody wants to take a try? I see some people have raised their hands. Is it to unmute and say, or is it from the previous exercise? Okay, yes, Mohini, that's right. That on the credibility front, the post has used Sam Altman's example. Very nice, Priyanka. I think that's absolutely right. What you've mentioned. The key message is that he's talking about your dream career and the unhealthy comparison that one does. In the credibility part, he took the example of Sam Altman's statement, like what the video that he had looked and what was the statement he had put, so that many of us could connect. And then third is that the call to action where he has asked, where Ankur Warikoo has asked in the end, that what is that skill for you that probably it's easy for you, but it is very difficult for others. So yeah, that's absolutely right. We have got the spot on answer. However, thanks Nishi, Karunish, Mohini, Rupali, everybody for taking a try. That itself is the first part before you actually arrive to the right answer. Yes, Karthik. That's true. That what thing is difficult for others and easy for you has the element of credibility and call to action as well. So yeah, very nice. And let me go to the next slide where I want to share one more example and want you to share your thoughts on the 3Cs. Okay, so this is the next example, and this post has been done by Mr. Stephen. It talks about Malala Fund, and I'll share this in the chat. You can have a look. You can go through this post for a minute, and you can identify the clarity, the one key message, credibility, what is the social proof or a real experience that is being shared, and what is the call to action in this post. Okay, so I will paste this in the chat now. And likewise, help me identify the three C's. Any thoughts? I see the chat very silent. Or are you guys still reading? Then you can just mention in the chat that you are still reading so that I'm aware. Anybody, you're reading or you're done and you're typing. Can you please put in the chat? Okay. Thanks, Karunesh. Okay. Karunesh, one help is that you can have a look for the CTA towards the end of the post, because all the posts more or less which have been done by people who've been in the content creation for a while, all of them use these three tactics to actually engage the audience. And Jershika, your thought on the clarity part is absolutely right for equality education for girls. Okay. Okay. Priyanka has written that the key message is for the people to be aware about Malala Fund. Experience is that provided the list of organization the fund is working with, and CTA is the link towards that. Right, right. Very nice, very nice. That's absolutely right. Nishi has mentioned that the CTA is promoting education and storytelling. So Nishi, CTA is call to action, which actually comes more or less towards the end of the post, where it says what is the next step you have to follow, like actually take an action. Probably it can be clicking a link, or it's asking a question to you so that you can comment in the chat box, or it actually drives the person to take an action post reading. So what you mentioned is right. However, you have mentioned on the credibility part. Ojas has mentioned clarity and credibility. Yeah, Ojas, both of them are there. CTA is also included. Kajal says it talks about CTA. Yes, so CTA is being talked about towards the end of the post, where the where Mr. Stephen is asking you to actually go to the link and read more about the Malala Fund. Okay, so probably okay. Thanks, Mohini, for your answer on the CTA. Now we'll go to the slide as such, and let me actually go and share in depth with this so that it becomes more clear for everyone. Okay, so here I hope you can see the pointer, the the courses that I'm showing. So here, if you see on the clarity part where Ankur Warikoo starts on the dream career, so this is the key message that he's trying to position. So when you read the post, you'll get, oh, what is the theme of that particular content? Because a lot of themes mixed in a post actually makes the user go in a typical, what we say, khichdi, because there's so much to digest, right? So it's just one key theme. And the credibility part is that he has mentioned that he was watching Sam Altman's video and what the video actually talks about. So this is the part where he's talking about, it's not just me saying, I'm also giving you some social proof what Sam Altman has told. And you know that he is so much in the news, and the great work that he has been doing, that most of us know. So we are able to relate with that personality in an instant. And then call to action is that he has mentioned here towards the very end, what is that one skill for you? So he mentions on the career part, and then he has mentioned what is that skill for you. So it gives us, helps us to go in one thought, and also we for us to comment in the post section. So this is how 3C has been used. Now coming to this post by Mr. Stephen, I'll just quickly go over this. So the clarity, the key message is on highlighting about Malala Fund. Then the credibility part is that it talks about in depth that with whom the organizations is working with. It also talks about the partners and the women-led organizations, and it has also linked it out so that as an audience the credibility also increases, that it's not just being said but also the organizations are being linked out. And towards the end, the call to action part, it says to learn more, click on this link, and you can also reach out to so and so person. So this is how the call to action has been used. So I hope this is more clear to you, and most of you have answered right in the chat. And for those who have not answered, I hope you also got the in brief what the 3C framework looks like. So now this is a very interesting question, and when I ask it to the audience, I see so many interesting answers. So I want you to tell me some reels or posts that you have read or watched in the recent past, and that has actually made you stop scrolling, or you've actually read that post in full go. So I know this is something very easy because most of us are on Instagram, most of us are on LinkedIn, and we take in, consume in so much content. So it will be very fun to also see the content that people have been looking over Instagram. Is it motivational, inspirational, or habit based? And yeah, so if you can tell me some of these answers in the chat, that would be helpful. Okay, and this is like a question where you don't need much thought. So I want most of you to answer in the chat box. So I'll also try to repeat the question in Hindi. तो हम बहुत बार कंटेंट देखते हैं, और जब हम कंटेंट देखते हैं, चाहे वो इंस्टाग्राम पे रील्स हो या फिर लिंक्डइन पे कोई पोस्ट हो, कोई कंटेंट.
Yeah. Sorry for interruption. There is some echo, I guess.
Sorry?
Echo.
Oh, from my end?
Yeah. Can you once mute and unmute?
Yeah. Is it fine now? Ronit, can you confirm? Can you guys give a thumbs up if the echo is still there? Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Reva, for confirming. So, okay, so let me just put this question in Hindi also. एंड सो बहुत बार होता है कि हम इंस्टाग्राम पे रील्स देखते हैं या कंटेंट देखते हैं लिंक्डइन पे, और बहुत बार कंटेंट होता है कि हम नेक्स्ट कंटेंट पे चले जाते हैं, बट देयर आर टाइम्स जब हम वही कंटेंट को देखते हैं कि पूरा कंटेंट देखें एक बार में. सो आई एम आस्किंग कि ऐसा कोई कंटेंट है रिसेंट पास्ट में जहां पे आपने स्क्रॉल नहीं किया हो और आपने पूरा कंटेंट देखा हो, उसका कोई एग्जांपल्स अगर आप चैट पे अगर आप कोई चैट पे उसका एग्जांपल्स दें. Okay, so Nishi has written that chat GPT prompt engineering are the content she has been watching and reading about, and she has not scrolled past the content. Very nice, great. Rupali mentions Kuldeep Singhania's content. Okay, awesome. Karthik says motivational videos and the work opportunities. Very interesting, nice. Aishwarya says that reels where a process of cooking something is shown, but the person is narrating a different story. That keeps you hooked to it for the story than the cooking. Yes, very relatable, very nice example. Aishwarya mentions cost breakdown reels. Okay, I also watch them a lot. Priyanka says that there was a post from Ambitious Club which said that the top universities like Harvard, Yale, and MIT want a researcher like you. And after reading this, I clicked on the C details. Oh, okay. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, because instant relatability, right? First, it is talking about 1C, which is the clarity part. Then credibility is that it is telling you the top universities. And then CTA, that it wants a researcher like you so that you can click and read more. So also next time when you see all these content pieces, remember that what the 3 C's that we learned and how it is being utilized, so that you'll be able to understand more about content. Ojas says gym motivation reels. Rishabh says perplexity AI prompt engineering. Mohini says horror storytelling reel. Shivam says political reels on Instagram, which media abide by, sometimes shocking ones. Manish says reels on Canva tutorials. Karunish says YouTube reels. Awesome. Very nice. Very nice. I thank you for your participation, and thank you for actually saying some of these points, which I would have actually not thought about as well. So very nice. Oja says movie trailer breakdown reels. Awesome. So let me go back to my screen, and then we'll talk in depth about the reels part. Okay, so many of you mentioned very interesting examples and very relatable ones as well. Specifically, the cooking example I really liked, because that is something where storytelling is being coming, the visuals are being shown, and the hook that is provided is very interesting. So let me break down this reel or the post content for you, so that is something which you can use in your future content journey. So the content which you said, which doesn't make you scroll, has to more to do with the hook formula. And what is this hook formula? Is that H stands for hook in 3 seconds. So the average human mind actually scrolls through a content or reads it. That decision is made in just 3 seconds. So you have to actually appeal to the audience in the initial 3 seconds. Then in O means to offer value fast. So probably sharing a story which the audience relates to. Or you must have seen people shooting these videos in actually very weird angles. Or you must have they include a video in the very start where you'll be like shocked that, oh, how is this possible? And then they will get into the content part which they actually want to share. So offer value fast. Then other O is that orient with emotions. So many a times, or most of the time, the content that we actually consume has to do something with the emotion part. And then when emotionally we get attached to the content, then we have the tendency of going through the video or the post more in depth. And K stands for kick with a call to action. So include a call to action where, let's say, for example, that there's this course or there is a course that you want to sell. So initially you can say that, oh, this course actually changed my life. Then in O, that this includes value for money, or you won't believe that you are getting this for X and X price, and that too from top universities, something like this. Then orient with emotion, like people who have done these sort of codes have actually got placed or got jobs in so and so company, so that people think, oh, I can also be there. And K is that you include call to action, that if you want to sign up for this course, then you can click here. So this is something I want you to use in your future scrolling of reels, or probably you are looking at post, to see that how is this hook formula being used, and how the decision is being made by us within seconds, whether we want to actually look at the post or scroll forward. And one of you actually shared a very nice example that there is a post that she or he had read, where it talked about enrolling with top universities. So, and how that person actually that post actually asked, do you want to be the next researcher? And that struck a chord with that person, and they actually went and looked more for the details. So yeah, you can also be more cognizant of the hook formula the next time you go and see those reels of the content. Now, next question is that how many of you post at least once a week? I want you to write in the chat that if you post once a week or you post more number of times, then what is that number of time? Just to repeat in Hindi. So मैं आपसे पूछ रही हूँ चैट पे कि आप लोग वीक में एक बार पोस्ट करते हैं या उससे ज्यादा करते हैं, और अगर उससे ज्यादा करते हैं तो कितनी बार करते हैं? Oh, wow, Mohini posts every day on LinkedIn. Great. So towards the end of the session, very end of the session, I will share my LinkedIn QR code, and I want you guys to get connected with me so that I can also see the great content that you have been posting. Very nice. Karunish is asking on which platforms. You can mention on any platform. You can mention about LinkedIn, Instagram, and other platforms where you are active. Oh, wow. Aryan posts daily on LinkedIn. Mohini posts 3 posts daily. Mohini, on which okay, you've mentioned. On LinkedIn, you post. Okay, awesome. Then Manish posts 1 post per day on LinkedIn and Instagram. Great. Yusuf posts daily. Priyanka posts daily on X, LinkedIn, and Insta. Wow. So you use any automation tool, Priyanka? And then Shivam posts on an average 5 to 6 posts per week. Great. Nishi posts on daily basis on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Sejal posts daily on LinkedIn, Instagram. Karunish posts at least once a week on LinkedIn. सुरेंद्र सेज कि डेली करते हैं पर रिजल्ट नहीं मिलता है, राइट? एंड उसके लिए आप जो इस वेबिनार में जो भी टेक्निक्स आप सीखोगे, चाहे वो रील के लिए हो, कंटेंट के लिए हो, आई होप आप सब नोट्स बना रहे हो, और जब आप ये वाले टेक्निक्स यूज करोगे, ओवर अ टाइम आपको पता चलेगा कि क्या वर्क कर रहा है, क्या वर्क नहीं कर रहा है, और उसके अकॉर्डिंगली आप उसको कंटेंट को ट्वीक करके और बेटर वे में प्रेजेंट कर पाओगे. बिकॉज एक चीज होता है कंसिस्टेंसी, बट एक चीज होता है कंसिस्टेंसी विथ यूजिंग द राइट टेक्निक्स. तो वो राइट टेक्निक्स के लिए आपको भी थोड़ा जो टेक्निक्स है यहाँ पे बता रहे हैं, आपको थोड़ा फॉलो करना होगा. Nishi says to post on YouTube channel on weekly basis. Priyanka is still learning. Great. It's very nice to see all of you all join this webinar, and I hope you get some actionable techniques from here. Samyukta posts every day. Yeah, Karunesh says, can you share the PPT? Ronit will be sharing the content, right? You will be posting on YouTube, I suppose. Okay, so let me get back to the slides now. And there are these case studies that we'll go to. So this is the consistency loop, and this has this 5-step action plan where it talks about, first you need to have a plan. Then after you have the plan, let's say you want to do a certain post, then for that post you first need to have a plan. Okay, I want x number of likes, I want x number of signups, and then I will present it in the way of a video, I will present in a way of carousel, then you will see what are the hashtags to be used. So you will have a plan proper. The thing is that most of us start with shooting the video or creating the video in one go, and then the plan part is something which gets eliminated. So from now on, I want you to follow this consistency loop where you actually plan the content. After you plan, you begin with the creation part. Then you use some tools. You can use some AI based tools. I'll go through that also later on. And you start with the creation part for video, which is the platform you want to use, what is the caption that you want to use. So that comes in creation. Then you do the testing part. So testing means that you use certain hashtags in one post. In certain post you use some different hashtag or some different call to action. In some, let's say you put a story on Instagram, for some you don't. So there are different techniques you have to experiment, test out. And then after testing happens the tweaking. So let's say I do a post today and I see, okay, I've done this post, I have used these and these techniques, but it didn't work out. So next post, I will tweak my content in such a way so that I get more people to look at that post. And then once I have got better in my understanding, then I will go to the repeat part, which is to use this in loop of repeating the results and of repeating the post, or repeating the planning. Of course you will create different post in the go, but you repeat the planning, creating, testing, tweaking stage, and then you repeat it. So consistency beat creativity when it comes to conversion, because as in more and more you post, you have become more consistent, and after a point your content will actually become viral. So now I will go through few case studies, and in these case studies, first is something that I will help you understand, and in the next case studies, I want you guys to help me to understand better. So the first case study is for a digital course promotion. So I'm giving example of a person named Deepak. So Deepak used the technique of free webinars, and that free webinar he used to give a lot of value. And in those free webinars, he also shared on social media. And when he did provide those free webinars or shared these clips on social media, he got that call to action for people to actually get his paid course. So what happened that from his free webinars, he got the conversion rate of 40% for people to buy his paid course. He also scaled to 10K plus paid students, and he got good following on social media as well. So why it worked? Because it used the 3-step framework, which is free. You give free content, then you engage with the audience, with the user, and then you get into the convert. He also used social proof, like you reused the webinar clips in short form content, that how it changed, how it helped people, how it changed the business they were doing, or how that the free webinar actually helped them understand more about digital marketing. And he had a very clear call to action on every platform. So always remember that you use content as a preview of your original course. And if your free content teaches well, then your, of course, paid content will sell really well. So this is the first case study. I have two more case study with me, where I just want you to tell me in brief that how somebody has used social media content to drive more conversion rates. So this is the second case study, and it talks about a language coach, how she has utilized I want you to go through that. I will not give hints. I want you to go through this and tell me that how and what the language coach did, what worked, and what is the takeaway. I mean, all the answers are here, but I want you to just read through and give me in simple 2-3 lines what is the learning that you got. We will take about 2 minutes for this exercise. I hope you have read it, and I will just copy this and paste in the chat too. I want you guys to also have a look. Okay, I'm seeing the chat. Yes, Priyanka is saying what is tweaking from my previous slide. Priyanka, tweaking means to make changes or edits to the content. Mohini mentions that the language coach has created a challenge for people to take part with curiosity and interest, right? So the language coach has actually created a mini challenge, and in the mini challenge, she has included the call to action for people to join her paid course if they want to continue with the pronunciation practice. She has gamified the content, right? Right. Thanks for these answers. So we'll move on to the next one. Okay, before that, Nishi has mentioned everyone wants progress, and that's why everyone has taken part in these challenges, right? So in short, the language coach, sorry, is not trying to sell her course. She is trying to sell the fact that people want to see progress. They don't want to buy a course, and when they feel more attached to the pronunciation reels and the mini challenges, they want to continue that effort, and then they want to join a paid course where they can learn about the course, and also they can so they have not actually paid, but they have continued the challenge of the pronunciation reels. So I hope you got the gist. Now, this is the second case study, which is talking about a fitness trainer, Mansi, how she has used Reels to show client transformation, and how she has driven signups for her training. So I want you to have a look at this. We will take another 1 minute, and then you can tell me in the chat what are your thoughts. Okay, so now I hope to see some answers in the chat, and I'll copy paste this in the chat as well. Anybody has any thoughts? I know we are 5 minutes over time, but I'll try to cover the next few slides in the next 10 minutes, and then we can take the question and answer that you have. So Manish has mentioned that she has gained trust by posting real customer transformation. Very right. Yes, that's true. And any more answers? Karunish says that it has used 3Cs for people to get 120 signups. Yes. So see how the 3C framework has been used, where in 3C framework, the CTA part, which is call to action, has been utilized, which is helping the Mansi to drive more signups for her training. Right. So I'll just go back to the content now. Okay. So here you notice that how visual storytelling is being utilized, where real transformations of the clients are being shared, and in that one call to action is being used is DM fit if you want to join the next 4-week challenge. So remember, people don't buy workouts, they buy the feeling of transformation. So don't show but don't tell is the takeaway from this. Like, you show the transformation, you show how others have benefited, but you actually don't tell you have to buy the workout or you have to buy the course, right? So now I'll skip to this quick template, and this is something which you can use in your future content part as well. So this template talks about that you use one or identify one pain point. Then in that pain, after you have identified that, you share your insight and you end with a clear call to action. So use these three statements, and these three statements can act as a quick template for you. So the next time you create content, you can build your own conversions from that. That can be sign up, for people to comment, for people to actually drive to a course, for people to actually sign up for a webinar, and so forth. So I hope you got we learned from an example and then we came to the content part. So I hope this is clear. Now here is a task. This is a challenge that I want to share with all of you. This is a 5-step content challenge. So I want you to share your key takeaways from today's session on LinkedIn. And what I want you to do is that you start with the hook. You can before I go in the other steps, you can take a photo of this slide if you want, so that you can share, you can actually refer to it quickly, so that you can post after this session on LinkedIn. So post your key takeaways from today's session on LinkedIn. So you can start with the hook. Like, let's say hook is that on today's Saturday I did something different. I joined a webinar instead of grabbing breakfast at 12. I'm just making this up. You can feel free to post in whatever way you want. Then you share a story could be what you have learned. Show proof. You can click some pictures from the webinar, and then you can actually post. When you do the post, you can actually attach few images. Then you add a call to action. Probably you can add like, this is the webinar that you signed up for. You can tag RiseUpp, you can tag me, and then you can include that if anybody wants to join a future webinar with RiseUpp, you can go and click on this link, or you can give the website link for RiseUpp. You can even tag me. If somebody wants to get any doubts cleared, they can reach out to me. So this is how you include the call to action, and then you post it. So if you have really learned something today, and you have really learned about content that converts, that I want you to take up this challenge, and I want to see that how many of you are following the hook formula, the 3C formula, the 3C framework, and then the quick template that I shared. And then I want you to take up this challenge. So do tag me in your post so that I can like and comment. Here is a bonus tip for you guys. So these are a few AI tools which can be used for content creation. Many of you must be familiar with this. However, I would like to give a refresher and want to also share with others who are not aware about this. So you can use ChatGPT for idea generation and caption generation. Then you can use Jasper AI. This has templates for blogs, ads. Then you can use copy.ai, which has a lot of catchy hooks and call to action that drive signups. You can use Canva Magic Studio, which has real thumbnails and social graphics. Then you can use HubSpot AI, which automates emails, captions, and lead nurturing. So do explore, do try out these AI tools. You can get a lot of it in the free version as well. So do try out, and it actually simplifies, and your major focus can be on the preparation part and thinking what is the reel or the content that you have to prepare. You can also drive those insights, what is working, what is not working. However, for caption, for the content part, you can take help of these AI tools. So in summary, remember, create content with intent, not just for visibility. Post with clarity that what is the key message, key theme you want to share, and then communicate with purpose. Because every post is a communication starter, and every time you make a content, you will be much closer to the fact of making it get converted. So thank you, and this ends the session. And on the right hand side is my LinkedIn QR code. Ronit, I would like to request you if you can share my LinkedIn profile link in the chat as well. And on the left hand side, this is my one-on-one mentorship that I give on Unstop, and I have free limited slots, so they are limited. So if you want to get in touch, and if you want to learn on content, or you want to get some mentorship advice, that I'm happy to help. So on the left hand side, you can scan the QR code, and on the right hand side is my LinkedIn QR for me to get connected with you. So with this, we end today's session, and please write in the chat what is the one thing that you learned from today. And yeah, I'm open for any questions or doubts that you have. So we have the next 15 minutes till 1:30. And if you have any questions or you have any doubts, then please feel free to put them in the chat, or you can unmute and ask, and I'm happy to answer. Okay, Shivam and Nishi, I read what you've mentioned from the 2 case studies that were shared. Karunish mentions that, are these tools free? So some part of these AI tools you can utilize, and some portion of that can be used for free. However, there's a paid version to that. However, in my experience, I've seen much of the tasks I can do in the free version as well. Okay. Any questions that you have? Feel free to ask any questions that you have. Happy to answer. Yes, we can generate leads out of these posts. Yeah, so it means that if you're posting, then you can of course generate leads, and it depends on the kind of content that you've posted. First of all, it should have a very nice hook that actually makes the person to go and click, or actually makes the person to first read your post. And once that person has read your post, then the next step is that once they have read, then they will engage with the post, which is they like, comment, or they take the next step, is whether they DM you, whether they drop a comment in the comment section. So these are a few ways you can generate leads, or they fill up a form. I mean, there are multiple creative ways for you to get that. Any more questions? Okay, so Shivam mentions that the technique of clarity, credibility, and CTA, and also the hook strategy was most appealing to me. Great, great, awesome. Anybody likes to share some of the learnings they had today? How was the session for you? And you can also uh, ask any questions that you have. So Ayush has asked that if I have to generate 50 leads per day organically, what is the best way, ma'am? Okay, so the best way is that for you to be very consistent in the content journey part. And for consistency means that not just posting content day in, day out, but it means that even if you post the content day in, day out, for you to learn from the previous reels that or the content that what has worked, what has not worked. So first is learning. Second is that focusing on the leads would not be ideally the best option. First, you have to create a post where actually you are using the strategies of using one theme, having a clear call to action, and then as an outcome of that the leads come in. So as you create the content and you learn from the past things that have worked, that have not worked, with consistency you will get to a point where you know, okay, I will post this and this will work, this will not work. So that's how people learn, and that's how you get closer towards getting more and more leads. I mean, if I would have had the secret formula of generating 50 leads per day, I mean, then that will be the best case, right? Then I mean, I would be at the peak of everything. Or if there was a secret sauce, then everybody would be earning in lakhs and crores. So, however, it's just a learning journey that we have to do, and also learn in the go. So Priyanka says the learnings are how to identify and cooperate 3C framework. The question is that, ma'am, even though I am using hashtags, tagging people, and applying CTA to my post, I'm not really able to make people follow me, even engagement with my post. What should I do? I have very little followers on X, Insta, and LinkedIn. Okay, sure. So my suggestion would be that for the conversion to actually increase, first you pick up one social platform, and in that one social platform, let's say you pick up Instagram, then all the platforms, because what happens is that we try to use the same strategy for all platforms. However, the algorithms of each platform is different. So let's say you first pick Instagram. So Instagram, you know, reels are at the peak. So create video content, see what hashtags are being used by other creators who are posting similar content. You can even try with different hooks to see which is one is standing out, which is not. And once you gain good number of followers, decent followers, then you take the next platform. Because what happens that a lot of times the followers on one platform actually gets redirected from one platform to the next. So then you will not have to do the same heavy lifting that you did for Instagram to get followers on X. And once you get, okay, now these two platforms have really done great. Now let me pick up LinkedIn, because the tone, the kind of audience with whom you're interacting, how you're interacting changes from platform to platform, right? So for one content might not work across all. However, if you do some tweaks, then it will definitely stand out. I hope that answers. Nishi says that it was a nice session. I have learned clarity, credibility, CT, and also about hook strategy based on case studies. Awesome. Thanks, Nishi. Anybody else wants to share some learnings they had today? And I hope you guys will post on LinkedIn what were their learnings. I want to see how you use the 3Cs that we used, and the hook formula that we used, and the template that we learned, how you've been using it. Shivam says, thank you, ma'am, for this webinar. It was helpful indeed. Great. Thanks, ma'am, for the suggestion. I'll start applying those. Priyanka says, awesome. Great. Alifia says, thanks a lot, ma'am, for informative webinar. Thank you, Alifia. Anybody else? Any more questions that you have? Or anybody wants to ask any question? I'm here till the next 10 minutes. Thanks, Karunish, Manish, Ayushi. Anybody else?